Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. It's pretty amazing to be here, honestly. Sustainability has always been something close to my heart as an outdoor education teacher. And so to be here and talk about that at this conference is pretty awesome for me. I actually left my students to their own devices for the last 20 minutes of class today. I was like, here's some table tennis facts. So hopefully they did what they were meant to do, but I'm sure they did. And I'm not here to talk about my very average trampolining career. I'm here to talk about something called Sea to Summit 7. So Sea to Summit 7, thousands have climbed Mount Everest now, and hundreds have done the 7 summits, so that's the highest mountain in each of the 7 continents, but no one's actually climbed them all from sea level. So that's the challenge I decided to set myself. So it's very hard to kind of explain and give you guys an image, so I've just got a short video here to help you guys get your head around what it kind of is, and I'll do a bit of running commentary to help out because I've only got a short time to speak here. So there's the 7 summits of the world and the distances that they are from the coast. So Australia is the easiest one, which is quite awesome for us. And then, go Africa, Europe. And this is the sort of gear that I take on my journeys. And this is me setting off from a little town called Tunga in Tanzania, running all through different hours of the day, trying to avoid the heat. And this is me after 10 marathons in 9 days, finally reaching the gates of Kilimanjaro. And I just kind of broke down in pain and elation. That's on the summit of Kilimanjaro. Australia had its different challenges, just full of flies. I tried to do the whole thing off salami and porridge. Just, why not? And so now I'm running through South America, through Chile, through the border into Argentina, which is a pretty, I got some good stories about that. But this isn't my actual running speed, this is sped up. I wish it was. So that's the steepest road in the world, and that's what happens when you run up it. There's a good 10-minute vomiting session there. And this is a valley in Georgia, and I'm the only Westerner to ever be granted permission to go in there because the guy that runs the whole military in Georgia, his brother suffered from mental illness, and he gave me this special pass. So, and there's me up in Russia, and the ones that are on their way, we've got Denali in Alaska, which is a 5-week journey. We've got Antarctica, which is around about a 55-day journey, and Everest, where I have to run 32 marathons in 32 days before doing the summit. But this isn't all about me, it's about Sea to Summit 7 and doing it together and going on this journey, because it's a pretty interesting journey that you go on. So I like to think that I'm not the one climbing the mountain, that I'm taking a whole bunch of people with me, and that's how it relates to kind of my passion and purpose and stuff. So there's the Mental Health Foundation of New Zealand, which is the best way at keeping myself kind of well-rounded in this huge challenge. So why me? I started off just as a, student at high school taking outdoor education and thought it was pretty cool going to the bush, trying to climb some rocks. And then I kind of decided I wanted to harness that into a career. And I started teaching and guiding in the outdoors, and then I kind of was only ever doing things for students or other people, and kind of lost my personal passion for the outdoors. So I was doing a Sea to Summit of Taranaki. I was surfing, and then I looked at the mountain and was like, I'm going to run there. So 13 hours later, I was standing on the summit of Taranaki and was just like, this is awesome. Like, it was hard, but awesome. And I was like, I want to do, imagine doing some of the 7 summits from sea level. And I kind of said that as a joke. Yeah. So why the Sea to Summits? I love surfing, and I love climbing. So I was like, I'm going to just surf around the world and climb mountains. So naive. What is my motivation? So this is all about raising money and awareness for men's mental health. And I started this not really understanding how this cause would actually really start to affect me and how I'd relate to it. I just thought it was a cause that I really thought was really important. But I have a completely different relationship to that cause now. And so on that summit of Taranaki, I got back, and unfortunately one of my friends who's an adventurer, he lost his long-standing battle with depression. And that happened during that Cedar Summit when I had that big epiphany, and that kind of made me realize that I want to do something to get the word out there, because there's so many people battling, and the hardest thing to do is to ask for help. And I want to try and break that taboo where it's okay to ask for help, okay to talk about your feelings. So when I do my mountains, I actually climb them and write posts and blog and share my journeys in a really raw, emotional kind of sense, because no one's going to tell me to harden up when you run 10 marathons, you know? So yeah, so that's that. I'm breaking that ice. And if they do, they probably need to harden up themselves, you know? No, purpose and proof. So yeah, so I think this whole challenge has a purpose for me, and the proof side of things, I was thinking when I started this, I just thought, yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to adventure. I'm going to run. It's going to be cool. I'm going to get to do all of this cool stuff and help people. But I didn't think about all of the administration, the planning, the research, actually providing proof, GPS records, blogging, all of that sort of thing. And it's just this kind of challenge that I thought was, achievable has just gone, and it's taken me to some pretty special places. So these are the different mountains here and the distances that they are from the coast. So I've achieved 4 out of the 7 so far. And the mountain that I'm going to talk to you guys predominantly today is about Aconcagua in South America. It was the first mountain I tried, it was the 4th mountain I tried, and it was the 5th mountain I tried, because it really spanked me those first couple of times. But that's part of this challenge, is never giving up. And when I'm relating to mental health and the cause and the purpose, it's you can't give up. So it was just my main motivator. If I'd been doing it intrinsically, just for my own self, then I would have given up a long time ago. So that's Kilimanjaro, where I ran 10 marathons in 9 days, and then did the summit. And that was quite an interesting one, because the mountain side of things wasn't the challenge, it was the run. And so I moved to Perth for a few months to train to run in that sort of climate. And everything went really well. I trained hard, had the right nutrition, and it worked. So it's quite a boring story. So we got, the next one is Mount Kosciuszko in Australia. And this one here, same thing. I was really fit still, I was strong. I had all the nutrition going. That's why I wanted to play around with it and see if I could live off salami and porridge. And I averaged about 50 kilometers a day walking with the pack on. And had a big adventure there. And it was a 6-day battle. Just the amount of hours on my feet per day is something that I'd never really thought about. And my feet were just a complete mess by the end of it. But a lot of lessons learned on that way. And you can survive off porridge and salami. But man, my first meal of vegetables after that was amazing. Elbrus in Russia. So this is the most logistical nightmare that you could ever think of to try and organize a Cedar Summit. I had to run through Georgia to the border of Georgia and Russia. They hate each other. It's all closed. You can't research. There's no internet blogs about anyone that's run through the countries. I just literally had to go from Google Earth. So I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, weeks even, on Google Earth. And it was so strange. When I was running through the country, this eye was seeing what I was looking at, and this eye was remembering the Google Earth. So I was like, whoa, because I just looked at it so much. And I got to this valley, and I was walking up this valley, and was just like, oh my gosh, I'm actually here. Because I'd looked for so long at the 10 kilometers on either side of the Russian and Georgian border, just non-stop, just looking at my way that I was going to get to the border and back. Because you can't really muck around on borders in those countries. They got some rules and stuff. But so this takes me to Aconcagua, and I started this one on my 3rd time. 3rd time's a charm. And I finally completed it. After 48 days total on this mountain, I finally stood on the summit, and it was one of the most surreal and amazing moments of my life. And most of the other ones leading up to it, I've been solo the whole time. This time I wanted to take a friend of mine who'd helped me a lot up there, and having that moment and being able to share it was just the most amazing thing ever. So, and that kind of related to the theme better of mental health, like getting someone to help you and contribute, and you shouldn't battle alone. And I've been trying to battle alone, which is going against the whole purpose that I was trying to do it for. And it's funny how you start off with these journeys and you need to compromise and adapt, and because you're learning as you go. And for every success I've had, I couldn't even count the amount of failures. But as long as if you don't learn from them, then they are failures. So I like to think that I've had no failures. So this is a video of mine. This is very hard for me to actually show, and this is the second time I've actually shown this. I just missed my second attempt on Aconcagua, and I knew that the medic team were going to send me off the mountain. So I knew that my second time going there, I'd gone all the way there from the coast again. So it was a total of, day 21, and I knew that it was over for me. So this is my frame of mind.
I made it back to my tent now from up the mountain. I'm still feeling pretty wasted. I'm kind of glad I didn't continue now, but the medical staff, I went and saw them when I got down, and they're sending me down to the bottom, to base camp again, and I could do another checkup, and they'll decide what to do there. Just got today, like, second time, and thought, I'm just so ashamed of letting people down and stuff. Hopefully I get down and I can sort my body out, get my sickness under control, and then maybe give it another crack. Because I'm acclimatised now at least, but yeah, I'm really sorry, eh?
So here I was feeling useless, I was feeling like I'd let everyone down, and I felt a failure. And it's like, the first time I hadn't summited was because of the weather. I got stuck in a storm, and that's easy to justify when you can say it's not me, it was the weather, But the second time was me. I'd tried to push things a little bit too hard. I'd overtrained. My immune system was very low. I wasn't eating quite the right things on the mountain. I used to have a peanut allergy when I was a kid, thought I'd outgrown it, and I ate peanuts at base camp, and because my immune system was that close to crashing, I had this massive breakout, and I couldn't acclimatise because I couldn't drink water, and my body just started shutting down just little bit by little bit, and I went for the summit anyway, and I got to this point, and I knew that if I make the summit, there's no way I was going to make it back down on my own two legs. And in mountaineering, the golden rule is that if you become a liability, then that's the worst thing you could possibly do. So I knew it was like one more step, and I don't think I can make it back down to the medic tent. And I turned around, and I was just bawling my eyes out the whole way down. And I finally got down to the medic tent, and they checked me over, and they kept me for the night. And then that was the next day off in the tent. And I was just feeling so low and thinking, I told everyone that I was going to go back, and I said I was going to do this, and then I didn't. And it was like an instantaneous, true relation to the mental health and the struggles that people go through. And I realized at that moment that this isn't just about the challenge and about the summits. It's not about standing on top of the mountains. It's about the journey. It's about the lessons. It's about sharing it, and about what I'm doing right now, because that's far more important than me personally standing on a mountain. And that's really what Cedar Summit 7 was about, and I learned that on that journey. And just after that, that afternoon, a climber was stumbling around, and he had exposure, and he actually slipped away about 5 meters away from me, and we had to take him down because it was too high for the helicopters to come. And so I took him down, and he had a young family, and it was really sad, but I also knew that by making that decision, that hard decision to turn around, I'm alive and I'm here, and that kind of, and it's a really hard decision to make, but it's resilience is a huge thing in this, and I kind of learnt that. And but mountains, they're not for playing around with. But I'm going to move on from that and lighten the mood a little bit with some amazing photography. Sorry, I got a little bit deep there, because that video for me, it's just huge. So this is base camp for attempt number 3, and I was all set up, ready to go with all my lessons learned and everything like that. And this time I had my friend with me, and he'd just spent like the last year of his life helping me research, helping me raise funds. He's a hunting buddy, so our freezer's full of sustainable meat. We never buy anything from any supermarkets. So we're already kind of living that sort of lifestyle. And I said to him, I'm going to take you to the summit. And that was kind of my new purpose, not just to get myself there, but I'm going to stand on it with you. And so we took off, and then this is us, this moment. Like the mountains, most of the time it's windy, most of the time it's cold, most of the time it's ugly, but every now and then you just get this view. I'd been on there for 40 days total, and I'd never seen this view. And then I got this, and I was just like, wow, like these moments of glory are just come, and you just never know when they're going to come, and it's about taking stock from them. You know, you can just sit in your tent going, okay, I need to climatize, I need to drink this and do that, but you're missing out on the bigger picture of why you're even there. And this is another awesome shot that we were at this is the second highest camp before you summit, and yeah, and everyone was in their tents. As you can see, there's only like one guy, and I think he was gathering snow, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you idiots. Like, look at this. So I just sat there and just enjoyed this and for ages, and I think I only saw one other person that whole time because everyone was so focused on get in my tent, okay? You know, and if you're so focused and you've got tunnel vision on your goal, you miss everything around you, and you're probably going to learn more from this than you are from that. Now, this is my favorite shot of these whole 4 journeys, and this is me and my friend Mike. Just when we stand on that rock and we're joking around, and this Australian guy that we'd been mocking the last 3 days, he saw us standing there having a look, and he took this photo. And he's just like, that's just, you know, like what mountaineering should be. And it's about a journey with someone. And yeah, so we got that photo, and then he showed us, and then we stopped mocking him after that. So that's me in the tent doing my tent time, because there's a lot of that as well. So this is the final ridge that you walk along before your final push on the mountain. So we're at 6,500 meters here. The summit's just under 7,000. And you're feeling pretty tired at this stage, but it's just a cool kind of journey shot there. And this next shot is a pretty good one. And that's the summit of Mount Aconcagua. And yeah, and even though it's not technically the hardest mountain to climb, for me, Aconcagua had actually kind of become a metaphor for what this journey was about for me. So Aconcagua was that like cloud, that cloud that hangs over people that are suffering from mental illness. It was every time I thought about Aconcagua, I would get anxious. I didn't want to go back there. It became this beast, and yeah, it was a metaphor for that. So by standing on that summit, never giving up, I kind of, yeah, it was the most amazing feeling ever. And the thing is, though, I'm so lucky. I'm standing here sharing this journey, but I'm lucky. I can leave these mountains, you know. This mountain casts a shadow over me, but at any time I want to, I can walk away from that shadow. Whereas people suffering with mental illness, that shadow follows them. And that's what I need to keep remembering in this, and that's one of my motivating factors. So there's me and a mate and the annoying Australian. I let him come and join that and hold that. So coming up, I've just got a couple of minutes left. We've got Denali. This is coming up in March, 5-week journey. I'm going to be running from Anchorage for 6 marathons till I meet the snow, and then I've got a 9-day glacier trek, and then I reach base camp, and it's a 3-week climb from there. So no one's ever done that one. Then after that, next December, I've got Antarctica, and that is going to be about a 40-day walk where I'm towing a sled, self-sustaining, and getting to the mountain. It's about another 16-day climb from there. So I've convinced a couple of friends from the States to join me on that one. Yeah, and so there's going to be 3 of us going for that. And again, that will be a first ever Cedar Summit. But the last one, the big dog, Everest. And Everest, I think, you say the word and every Kiwi has a bit of like a, you know, and I kind of want to carry that legacy on, because Sir Ed really is the reason why I'm here. He's the one I grew up listening to and idolizing. And, you know, it's not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so Everest, I've got to run 32 marathons in 32 days. Then I'll get to Kathmandu and eat food and nothing else, but like 2 weeks, try and put some fat back on. Because for running, you need to be thin, and for mountains, you need to be fat. So don't complement each other so well. But yeah, just a couple of messages I want to leave you with is the awesomeness of naivety. You say naive and it's got that negative connotation, but for me, as I said at the start, it's taken me to some pretty crazy places, and I kind of like to think of it as like, yeah, just give it a shot and see how it turns out and learn from it, as long as it's not going to kill you. Make something bigger than you. So that's that purpose side of things again. Like this is not about Dave Williams climbing these mountains. This is Cedar Summit 7, and it is the cause that keeps me going back to that Aconcagua mountain and keeps me pushing in those cold days. Not even to mention all of the training and all of the running from Otahu to work every single day is not the nicest run, but it's the only way to fit it in. And then this is my quote, my mantra that I live my whole life by, and that's by Robert Frost, and that's take the path less traveled or the road not taken. And And by doing that, it's so easy to follow the same grain and the same mold that everyone's going, but all it's going to do is take you to a place that everyone else is going to be at. By taking the road less traveled in life and business and in your goals and your dreams, it's going to be way better. That's the Russian story, but I don't have time for that, so I'm going to tell you guys that. I basically hijacked a Russian military horse and rode it over a river, but you're going to have to come and see me at another talk. Or you could come and climb Mount Kilimanjaro with me this New Year's, if you want to get involved in that, and with World Expeditions. So I'm organising a tour of 11 people, and we're going to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and it's all a fundraiser for mental health. So you get to climb a mountain and help support the cause that we're doing it for. So if you're wanting to know anything more about that, you can go to the World Expedition site or come and see me. But there's the website, and take a look, have a like on Facebook, and it's been such a pleasure coming and talking to you guys and sharing my journey. Thank you.